We're here in the Jefferson cellars in Monticello with Gabriele. Gabriele, why don't you tell us how you ended up in the Jefferson cellars and a little bit about the Jefferson cellars?
Yes, well, I came to Monticello because I wanted to take a break from the wine industry, and then I fell in love with Jefferson and what he said and what he did, and I couldn't leave. So the reason why I brought you here, because this is a very interesting part of the building. It was the first structure built. It was not built for storing wine. It was built probably to store vegetable roots, but eventually became the wine cellar. So it's interesting from how many places he was getting the wine. He had the French wine, Portuguese wine, Italian wine, Spanish wine. Of course, it depends actually from the economic, from the finances that he had. You know, in the beginning there is a lot of expensive wine, then it goes to less expensive wine.
And is this all documented where he got the wines? How do you know all of this information about his wines?
Well, you know, he was a person who was writing down everything he was doing, and there are 20,000 letters which still exist. He had, sort of a diary of what he was doing in the garden, or what he was. So it's interesting that he documented everything he did. That's why we know a lot about him. Yeah. This is called the South Orchard at Monticello, and this is the place where Jefferson planted an unbelievable number of fruit trees of different varieties, included grapevines. Well, he planted grapevines 10 times, and what we have now is what we planted in 1907. We have 20 of the 24 varieties that he planted in 1907. So this vineyard is actually all Sangiovese, while the other vineyard, which is the northeast vineyard, is the collection of the 20 varieties that he had. We are not aware that he made any wine. I think he was first of all focusing on growing the grapes. That was the most important thing, and it was important to decide which one were doing well. And if he would have lived long enough, he would have made wine too, actually, but he didn't have the time. Yeah, I think Jefferson started to taste and to drink wine when he was in college, and he discovered the real wonderful dry wine only when he went to Europe. Actually, it's interesting that it looks like he really fell in love with wine when he went to France.
Tell us a little bit about how you started making wine in your house here.
Well, when I took my job at Monticello, I decided I wanted to continue to make some wine, and so I rented a vineyard actually, and I built a little cellar, and the beginning was sort of difficult, but then I enjoyed so much to do it that I couldn't stay away from it, so I kept going, and now I have two sons who actually do it for me. I'm happy I did something for them that they seem to enjoy very much.
And how many wines do you make here?
I make about 2,000 cases per year, and I make 12 different variety of wine.
You're one of the pioneers in Virginia winemaking. I mean, tell us about the start. And you started at Barboursville, right?
I was here in '76, and in the land of blinds, a man with one eye could see something. So I kept going despite the fact that they discouraged me from doing it, and I think it ended up to work all right.